As a project management expert, I often emphasize the critical importance of good data hygiene and the ability to access and manipulate your project and financial information. Whether you're planning a new project, analyzing past performance, or migrating to a different system, being able to export your valuable data is a non-negotiable requirement. For many small businesses and freelancers, FreshBooks is a go-to platform for invoicing, expense tracking, and managing client projects. But how do you get your list of items and services out of FreshBooks when you need it? Let's break it down in a simple, easy-to-understand way. Think of your items and services in FreshBooks as your core offerings, the tangible products you sell or the intangible services you provide. This list typically includes details like the item name, description, rate, and sometimes even inventory levels. Having this data readily available outside of FreshBooks can be incredibly useful for various reasons. Financial analysis. You might want to analyze your most profitable services or products in a spreadsheet, identifying trends that FreshBooks built-in reports might not highlight in the exact way you need. Pricing strategy. Exporting your services allows you to review your pricing structure, perhaps for a New Year's review or when considering adjustments. Migration to new software. If you ever decide to switch to a different accounting or project management system, having a clean export of your items and services is the first step in a smooth transition. Backup and archiving. It's always a good practice to have your data backed up outside of any cloud-based software, just in case. Creating custom reports. While FreshBooks offers excellent reports, you might need to combine item data with other information for highly specific analyses or external reporting. Integrating with other tools. You might want to upload your service list to a CRM system, a marketing automation tool, or another platform that doesn't have a direct integration with FreshBooks. The FreshBooks approach to data export. FreshBooks, being a user-friendly platform, does offer ways to extract your data. However, it's important to understand how FreshBooks generally handles exports, especially for items and services, as it's not always a single Export All Items button like you might find in some inventory-focused systems. The primary method FreshBooks provides for exporting lists of data, including your items and services, is often through its Reports section. While there might not be a direct Export Items and Services list button on the Items and Services page itself, you can typically generate a report that contains this information and then export that report. Here's a general approach you would take. Log in to your FreshBooks account. This is always the first step for any action within the platform. Navigate to the Reports section. Look for a Reports or Accounting section in your left-hand navigation menu. This is where FreshBooks compiles most of your financial and operational data into digestible formats. Find the relevant report. Within the Reports section, you're looking for a report that includes your items and services. The most common and useful report for this purpose is often called an item sales report or something similar. Why item sales? Even if you're not specifically looking at sales figures, this report typically lists all the items and services you've created, along with their associated details, name, description, rate, and how often they've been used in invoices. Configure the report filters. If needed, once you've selected the item sales or similar report, you might see options to filter the data. Date range. While you might not be interested in sales from a specific period, setting a broad date range, e.g., all time or this year if you've recently created new items, will ensure all your active items appear. Items/services. Make sure you've selected all items or all services if such a filter exists to capture your entire list. Status. Ensure you're including both active and potentially archived items if you want a complete historical record. Generate the report. Click the button to run or generate the report. Look for export options. Once the report is displayed, you should see an export button or a More Actions button that leads to an Export for Excel or Download CSV option. CSV, comma-separated values, is a common and highly versatile file format that can be opened in any spreadsheet software, like Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, or Apple Numbers. Download the file, click the export option, and your browser will download the CSV file to your computer. What to expect in your exported file. When you open the CSV file, you'll typically find your item and service data organized into columns. The exact columns might vary slightly based on the FreshBooks version or report, but you can generally expect to see item name/service name, the primary identifier, description, any detailed notes you added for the item or service, rate/price, the default billing rate for that item or service, units, if applicable, e.g., hours, units, quantity, tax information, any associated sales taxes, income account, if you've assigned specific income accounts for your items/services for accounting purposes, inventory, if tracked. If you use FreshBooks basic inventory tracking, you might see stock levels, usage data. The report might also include columns related to how many times the item was sold or the total revenue generated, which can be useful for analysis. Important considerations and tips. CSV is your friend. The CSV format is highly adaptable. Once you have the data in a spreadsheet, you can sort, filter, analyze, and reformat it as needed for your specific project management or business analysis tasks. Data accuracy. Always review the exported data to ensure it's complete and accurate. Sometimes, formatting issues or missing data can occur during export, especially if your initial FreshBooks entries were inconsistent. API for advanced needs. For more advanced users or those looking to automate data extraction, FreshBooks offers an API, application programming interface. This is a technical way to programmatically pull data from your FreshBooks account. This is usually for developers or those with specific integration needs and is beyond a simple click and export method. Support documentation. If you encounter any difficulties or if your FreshBooks interface looks different, always refer to the official FreshBooks support documentation. They have detailed guides and FAQs that are kept up to date. Exporting your items and services from FreshBooks is a straightforward process, primarily leveraging its reporting features. By understanding where to look and what to expect, you can efficiently access this crucial business data, empowering you to make informed decisions, streamline your workflows, and maintain robust data management practices for all your projects.